Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And we're going to have a look at the Metropolitan Police because, yes, it's another one of those the police are not your friends videos. This time, we're showing the Met Police as the most useless, lazy, idle, donut chomping, backward bunch of insert choice of words here because you just run out and you've got to stay this side of the algorithm. Otherwise, I'd end up getting banned. And I'm not going to do that. I'm so looking forward to pointing out how useless these people are. So, all these policemen in London working for the Metropolitan Police. What do? Well, they don't arrest people. 70% of policemen haven't made an arrest in a year. It's a joke. Here's the article. So, I'd like to say you couldn't make it up, but unfortunately it's all far too believable. 7 in 10 Met Police officers failed to make a single arrest in an entire year, new figures reveal, as crime hits its highest level in 2 decades. It's not surprising because they're all lazy sods, sitting around, scratching their asses, eating donuts, drinking beer, doing crosswords. I've seen more, so I know what it's like. 7 out of the 10 Met officers have not made an arrest in the last year. Freedom of Information says 22,753 of Scotland Yard's officers, or 70%, haven't nicked a suspect. A total of 6.3 million crimes were recorded in the year to March 2022. The figure is 4% higher than the previous all-time high of 6.1 million 2 years ago. Knife crime has risen by 10%, but is still below pre-pandemic levels. Presumably the people that would use it are still taking precautions. However, not a policeman in sight unless you do 31 in a 30 zone. We really have got the police force we deserve. Anyway, the Metropolitan Police, which is in special measures for the first time ever, due to concerns about serious or critical shortcomings following a wave of scandals, including the Sarah Everard case. This was a woman emmed and emmed, should I say, by Wayne Couzens, a serving officer, and he's not the only one. There have been several R's and several M's by policemen. There seems to be something about getting hold of that uniform that drags out the R-ist and the M-er. They are really a bunch that need to be thoroughly investigated, especially for high content of donuts. They are incredibly lazy and will not respond to anything short of major problems, like someone using the wrong pronoun. They do like to dance with gay people in the streets during Pride Month, but don't like tackling a mugger. They will like to get themselves having their picture taken with Extinction Rebellion, who are causing major damage to the London economy on the road while sitting on roads. But God forbid they actually arrest any of them for any of the crimes they commit, because they're woke and cowards. They are cowards, and they don't want to be seen to be actually doing their job, because actually doing their job, which is what they're paid for, isn't good on the optics. Look at him, he's arresting a protester. Meanwhile, the people who aren't having their houses smashed in by this mob are thinking, why is that cop not actually doing his job? Anyway, the news comes after it was revealed yesterday that police forces in England and Wales have recorded the highest number of crimes in 20 years, driven by a sharp rise in offences including fraud, R and V attacks. Well, of course it is. When you don't get a policeman on the street, what do you expect? It's time the Met officers got out from behind their desks, off their fat asses, and into communities where they fulfil their remit of deterring crime and keeping people safe. Retired Met Detective Chief Inspector Mick Neville said, "In my times I knew officers who would make 5 arrests in a few days, not in a year, and these would be arrests of burglars, thieves and robbers, which the public want to see. We also want to see the courts actually throw them in jail for 30 years every time." I'm not going to go on. We all know the story behind that useless twonk. And it's just terrible. It's just an indictment of what we've got. The trouble is, we get the police force we deserve. We don't deserve a better police force because we let it happen. We're not on the streets demanding better police, demanding that they fire the useless ones. What they should have is a nick rate for police officers. But we're not talking about the minor stuff here. We're talking about the serious stuff. You must arrest 5 burglars a year. You must get, not in even the individuals, but in your team. You have teams. And you say your team must arrest 5 burglars or 10 of this and 6 of that. Apply points to all the different crimes. So you can have an M, 100 points. An R, 90 points. A VA, 80 points. And down the same, a sneak burglar, 20 points. Things like that. Mugger in the street, 20 points. Anyone who's violent, gets a bit more. If it's a little bit of, I don't know, somebody's committed a newspaper fraud or something, stolen an egg from a shop. I mean, you get nothing for that. You really don't, because they don't care. But if you don't get enough points in a year, you lose your job. That would encourage better policing. That would get them off those big, fat, rotund backsides and onto the streets and actually protecting the people. The people who are paying for the damn service, I may add, rather than them just sitting there quartering down gallons of coffee, gallons of beer, donuts by the hundredweight, and doing sod all. Anyway, enough. I'm up. I'm done. Flaubert once said, "Inside every revolutionary is a policeman." I believe inside every policeman is a slothful, lazy fool. We can see this. They're just never there. They're never there. They sit around in their cars. They watch you. They don't get out. You never. When's the last time you watched a policeman walk a beat, meet the people he's supposed to look after? They whiz everywhere in their cars. The only time they put a blue light on is when it's lunchtime and they're running a bit late. They wonder why people treat them with contempt. Well, they're contemptuous. And until they start doing their job, they will remain contemptuous. Don't trust them. They are inefficient, corrupt, lazy, and useless. And that's what you're paying for out your taxes. We must demand better, and we must get better. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, protect yourself, and goodbye.